Hello, Bear Watchers. We are going to try to do this with dogs.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Did you see that? Heather and I waved in sync. We both went.
I know, I saw that.
That was funny. Sorry, I got excited.
But we wanted to do like a cruise recap because we don't have anything, like a review or...
We have ghosts.
Okay, we have ghosts.
Don't mind the confusing looks in that direction. It's just our ghost. He says hi. No, we don't really have a ghost, but you never know.
Yeah, the back door opened and then the security light went on. So that was strange. Okay. Anyways, we don't have anything to compare it to because it was our very first cruise. So we're just kind of going to do a recap of what we thought about our very first cruise. Because we had watched a lot of videos.
Yeah, we watched a lot of videos before to know what to expect. And then what was so interesting to me was that when we were done with our cruise and we were watching everyone else's videos of the same cruise, they were just so different.
So different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's, 4 or 5 other people, YouTube channels that we've been watching since the cruise that have done a day-to-day. And, things that they liked and things that we liked were, very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
So I guess
what we did and what they did.
Yeah, so I guess we went in with some expectations and like an idea of what it was going to be like. And then at the same time, no expectations. Right. We had things that we knew were going to happen and things we knew we wanted to do. But then we were like a cruise, there's so much to do, we can do whatever we want, so we just really didn't know what day by day was gonna look like. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, let's just wing it, it'll be fun, that's what everyone else does.
Right.
Yeah.
So, packing, we did okay. Mary and I did okay. Yeah. Heather you said you way overpacked, right?
Yeah, because Mary, I was starting to pack dresses at one point, but then I was like, oh, maybe I should pack some shorts, if I don't want to wear dresses for too long. Mm-hmm. So then I started packing tank tops and shorts and then some leggings.
I almost did that, but then I brought my suitcase down. I was like, you know what, Mom, take a look at this for me. I was like, I packed these extra things that I don't necessarily need. What do you think I should keep in here and what should I take out? And she was like, just keep a pair of shorts and maybe 1 or 2 extra t-shirts. And so that's what I did, and it turned out totally fine.
Yeah, but I guess it still worked out either way because, going down and then coming back was perfectly fine with my luggage either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, our luggage was the lightest it'd been in a while because it was not even, it was maybe 40 pounds, but
Yeah,
we packed pretty lightly.
Honestly, this was still a 2-week trip for us because we did 3 days in New Orleans beforehand and 3 days after. So that was almost a whole week trip on its own, the New Orleans part of it, which those videos are still to come, the after part. But, so we did okay. I wished I would have taken some warm pants, because I was
coming back.
And I seem to do that. I think, I'm from Alaska, the cold doesn't bother me. But then I get someplace and it was raining, so it was damp and cold. So
I think I found a really good hack to that. So what I did was, I had some friends that put me onto what are they called? They're transition pants. They're not transition pants. It's another word, but they're
They have
zip
zippers.
pants. Yeah, so you can
Oh,
zip the
yeah,
bottom
yeah,
half of the
yeah.
legs off, and then
They're convertible pants.
Yeah, convertible. That's what they're called. So you could zip the bottom half of the legs off, and then they turn into shorts. So I brought 2 pairs of those. I used them for my travel days. So I was like, this will be nice. I'll be nice and warm on the plane and everything. Then when we get somewhere hot, I can convert them into shorts, and then I can use them as shorts if I want to change into something more comfortable on the cruise and I don't want to wear a dress, and then on the way back I'll just zip the bottom half back on and I'll use them as pants again. And actually that turned out perfectly. They were like probably the comfiest thing. I don't think I'm going to go back to regular pants for like plane trips or anything. Those were actually really nice.
Yeah, usually if I go someplace like that, I bring some leggings that I can wear underneath some yoga pants. So with the 2 layers, I'm warm. But the problem is I only brought 1 pair of leggings and 1 pair of yoga pants, and I could have used them for 3 days.
Right, and that's the other thing about my convertible pants, because the legs were just wide enough, like there was room for air inside, and so when you have that extra space in between your leg and the pants, it keeps you warmer than like if you were to wear tighter form-fitting pants, that actually you'll feel colder in tighter pants. So that was perfect.
Yeah.
Comfort, warmth. Yeah.
And we thought that we would probably do laundry on the ship, but we didn't.
We didn't have time.
We didn't have time.
We were like those people who have been on a lot of the cruises and have done a lot of the things, so we wanted to do a bunch of stuff, and there just wasn't time for laundry. It's like, just do laundry when we get back home. Why would we do it on vacation?
Yeah. So when we arrived, we were surprised. I mean, we know there's a lot of people in line to go through and stuff. I mean, I've seen videos where it's been very crowded. And so that kind of threw us for a loop because it was a much longer line than we thought. So I think a lot of people got there earlier, and they tell you not to get there until your time.
Yeah, to get there, I mean, maybe 5 minutes before your time. But they greatly urge you not to get there until your time, like exactly, so that they don't have crowds, because then the people from the previous time slots are kind of still going through the lines and stuff, and that gives them enough time to kind of get through. Yeah,
and all of our luggage was showing up at our room
piece by piece.
Piece by piece. So there were 5 different pieces of luggage, and we wanted to get them all unpacked, so we kept running back and forth to the room, so we were missing other things that were going on because we were so concerned about getting the luggage.
Yeah, and I noticed, like, you don't have to pull things in. I think it worked out better for us.
Yeah, we could have left it all out there.
Yeah, we just had, like, larger suitcases, and we were like, well, let's just slide these in. But, like, other people, like, they have big families, lots of pieces of luggage.
Yeah,
and
you don't want to
leaving
end up,
them in the hallway because they kind of line them up along the wall.
Yeah, you don't want to leave them out there, like... because who knows, they might end up blocking the hallway depending on how much luggage you have.
Yeah, and that's kind of, if all 5 pieces were out there at once, it would have blocked the hallway where we were.
But I don't know, I wonder if in that case they will put them in your, like the housekeeping, if they come by, they might put them in your room.
I don't know.
That would be interesting to know.
Let us know if you've been on a cruise before, if your luggage has been out there for a while, if they put it in your room.
Yeah.
So
I was wondering about that because they didn't do. It seems like they do housekeeping at the very beginning of the day that you embark, and then they don't really come by until the very end of the day because people aren't really getting
turn
settled.
down the beds and give you your little candies and towel animals.
Yeah, so it might have just been that we got there before any of the housekeeping staff got by, you know?
Yeah. So as soon as you get there, there's things that you can't do until you get there. Like, we got a Wi-Fi package, which was a mid-grade Wi-Fi package.
Yeah, and they actually give you a pamphlet for how to do
set
that
it up
when you're at the port. Like, you're getting logged in and everything, and you're not quite on the ship yet. So we just folded that up, and then we waited until we were in our room and settled until we bought a package.
Yeah, and then we had to set it up on the 3 phones, and that worked really well. But we did we got into a storm on the way out.
Yeah, so it was iffy at certain parts of the day when we were...
They were losing the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, when we were in the midst of the storm, I couldn't post a lot, and so I had to kind of create, post, and then save them so I could actually post them later when the Wi-Fi was working.
Yeah,
and then every so often, one of us would kind of get bumped off, so it would say 2 connected instead of 3. So it was just, I think that was mostly due to the storm.
Yeah.
It was a little wonky.
Yeah, because we were talking to other people that they lost their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we were in a monsoon, so I don't blame them.
Yeah. And that's that monsoon for your first cruise. I talked to people that had been on 9, 10, 12 cruises and never had any kind of bad weather.
But that one lady that she talked to, I think she spoke about it in one of our videos, that said she's been through a couple hurricanes.
Yeah, that was her 9th cruise.
That kind of put me at ease, to be honest.
And
she was like, this is
I don't know if it sounds like she might have done the Gulf a lot. But she had been through 2 hurricanes on the Gulf. And she said, this is nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Things were flooded. The chandelier in the main atrium was leaking.
Right. And even they shut down some of the elevators on one side.
Yeah. Well, the forward and the aft elevators, they were shut down because the top deck flooded. And they were trying to get the doors shut. And they couldn't get the doors all shut on time. So all that water, there's like a half a foot of water that was, at the bottom of the doors. And every time they would open, it would all flood in.
Yeah, and you could tell people were getting pretty pessimistic about the weather because we were waiting in line for one of the Disney character photos. And there was a guy there and he was like, what do you guys think about this weather? And I was like, well, hopefully the sunshine comes soon. Maybe if we all wish enough. And he was like, I don't know, because I heard it was supposed to be like this the whole rest of the trip. And I was like, don't say that.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
But then everyone got so afraid, they canceled all of their Cozumel excursions. So that's how we got onto one. And then it ended up being like the perfect day. Unfortunately, all of those people who canceled Cozumel ended up moving to the Grand Cayman, or they already had Grand Cayman but didn't cancel those, and Grand Cayman ended up being the rainiest day.
Yeah.
So I felt so bad for all those people who thought Cozumel was going to be rainy, and then Grand Cayman ended up being rainy.
We didn't go out into Grand Cayman until later in the afternoon when all the rain cleared up. Yeah,
and all the excursions were pretty much almost over.
Yeah, but the day Cozumel, it did rain on Cozumel. But the day we were supposed to be at Cozumel, we went out in the morning and it was beautiful in the morning.
Gorgeous.
And then we took the
what is it called?
Catamaran.
Yeah, catamaran.
It was a 45-minute ride to this private island, and you could see the clouds over Cozumel.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful where we were.
And then the clouds started slowly creeping, but by the time...
But it was sunny until we got ready to leave, and then all of a sudden it started raining.
Sprinkling. Yeah, and it really just sprinkled a little bit, but that was it.
And thankfully, they gave us towels, so when we were when we were leaving, you could see half of the people were covered like we were.
Yeah, those were the towels from the ship. They have these huge towel racks that people can grab when they're getting off the ship, and then when they get back on, they take all those towels again. But man, that's like a lot of towels.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of laundry on those excursion days.
And we were covered up with them to stay warm because once that big cloud came over, it got chilly. The ride back on the catamaran.
There's all this wind flowing at you.
I think we were just chilly because we were burnt by the time we left the beach.
It's funny because that's not the day I burnt. It was the days we were at sea.
The day after,
Yeah.
Or no, because the day after was Grand Cayman.
Yeah,
so it was
the last couple
2 days. But anyways, we talked about the Wi-Fi package and got off a track because I wanted to talk about the app at the same time.
Oh, okay.
The app, we couldn't start the app until you got on the ship either. So we we knew what it looked like and how it worked, and it actually was easy.
Yeah,
it was easy to navigate. Every now and then it would say you would kind of have to refresh it, but...
Yeah, because they were changing things. They would add things.
Yeah, and then what we found interesting was each of you personally could kind of create your own itinerary, because Mom and Heather were getting confused. They were hearting different things, and then they weren't showing up on each other's hearts.
Right.
And so we figured out, it's like, oh, people can heart their own stuff and it'll just show up on their own itinerary instead of
Yeah, so they couldn't
everybody's.
see what I was, hearting.
Yeah.
I would put a little heart next to the things. So those are pinned as your favorites. So you
Yeah.
can just press your favorites, and then that
it'll notify you
that
of when
will
those
be
are happening.
that will be like your itinerary, the things you're going to do.
Yeah.
And then it'll notify you that
Yeah,
this is
definitely.
starting in a half an hour, this is starting in 15
Yeah,
minutes.
and I think it made it easier for a lot of like the families that have like kids. Like if there was like a kid kind of event going on, then they could be able to take their kid to that while also having a plan for themselves to go to the adult area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I told Heather, I think it was this morning, that it'd be kind of cool if they had like different color hearts for family members,
Yeah. So you
so
can
that
check
way
on other
you could
people's itineraries and see where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing about families. So the app itself, if you don't have coverage, or if you don't have like out of country like cell reception or whatever, the app has its own messaging service, and we did utilize that most of the trip, and it's got all these
we
cute
did.
emojis that are Disney themed. The only thing with that is that I noticed if I closed out of the app, sometimes I wouldn't get the messages, and then I'd go on there and it'd be like 25 messages between like your family members, and I was like, the what?
I never closed the app.
Yeah, and see, I tried not to do that, but I just am like so used to just closing all of my windows when I put my phone down. So I should have just kept it open the whole time.
Yeah. So
But I was always with
that
her.
was easy to navigate once we got it figured out. I just wish that we could see, because like Heather, she was always asking us where we were at. She would go off and do something, and I'm like, well, I told you I was going to be at this event, because we put it on our thing, But oh well, I mean, it worked. But our room, I wanted to talk about our room, because Heather and I get motion sickness. And so I purposely did an inside stateroom down low in the middle of the ship. I purposely did that. And those are the cheaper rooms anyway.
It was a nice room.
So, and it was a nice room. And I heard that the Magic has bigger rooms because it's an older ship. It's 25 years old. And it's the oldest of the Disney fleet. And it worked because it didn't rock. I mean, it did rock because we were in a storm.
Yeah, when we were in the storm, it definitely felt like it was rocking, but I slept great.
Actually being in the middle of the ship, it was
the
kind of
best
like
thing.
rocking us to sleep. I slept great. I slept like a baby, and the rocking really didn't. I got nauseous that one morning, the morning of the monsoon, because it was really, really bouncing
Rickety.
around.
Yeah.
But I had some eggs. I was going to skip breakfast. And I'm like, no, maybe I should have something. I had some eggs and I was fine.
I actually didn't get nauseous until that night, but I think I had probably just eaten a lot of food, and I was just full, and the ship was shaking, and I was tired, so my balance was off because my brain was not awake. So I think at that point it was just like, I just need a nap and I'll be fine.
Right? Yeah. So this Disney characters, they're everywhere. There's all kinds of photo opportunities, just tons of them.
And it felt so special because, especially on the nice days, the last few days of our trip, when it was nice out and people were all outside in the water, just relaxing, a lot of those characters would just show up and walk around, and people would be like, oh my gosh, Captain Hook, oh my gosh, it's Captain America.
And they will stop and talk to you too. And
and it's funny because because we saw Captain America, Thor, and then
Spider-Man.
Oh, and
then
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Captain Marvel, all in the same area. But you can't
Miss
take
Marvel,
pictures
is it?
with all of them as a group.
So they kept trying, every time we came close to them, they were trying to
They would,
separate.
like, scatter.
They were, like, scatter.
Yeah, they're like, and I get that because then if a bunch of people showed up, then the whole group would be like stuck
Yeah,
in one area,
right.
and then other people can get individual pictures with the character they
Right.
want.
I think
to
what
do.
was extremely funny about that, the one thing that happened was mostly with the Marvel characters is what happened. We were just sort of walking through, we were going to go like up to one of the top decks to kind of like check out the scenery. I think it was in Cozumel is where we were.
Mhm.
And we were like we were going around, and by the elevators we saw them, they were all like conversating with each other, and then
Oh,
they're
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
we got a mission to go on.
Yeah,
So we went onto the
this is
elevator.
same character.
And then we were just like, oh, that was cool to see them. And then when we went up to the top deck
That's where
and
they
started
were.
walking around, we saw them again, and we were just like, oh, hey.
Yeah, it's funny. We were walking around a lot, so we
Uh-huh.
bumped into the characters
Yeah.
several times.
Yeah. So we did end up getting a photo package.
Yeah, which we weren't planning on because we
We-
knew that they take pictures on your cell phone.
They take your cell phone right from you if you want pictures taken, and the people that are taking the pictures, most of the time they're very good, and they'll take pictures with you interacting.
Yeah, and
with
those
the
ended up
characters.
being super
Those
cute.
those are so cute
But
because
we did notice there were a few photo package pictures that turned out like way better than our phone pictures, and we
Mm-hmm.
were like, like maybe we should consider buying one, and we ended up doing it because there were enough of them that we were like, we'll just buy a package.
right, yeah.
Keep it.
What are you doing?
I'm giving him booty scratches,
Oh,
and
boy.
he's happy. He's like, it feels so nice.
Oh my goodness! I got little notes here. So
He's breathing all over your notes.
Yeah, the only thing about the photo package, I guess, is because there are kind of professional grade photos, and you get to like have the special experience with the characters. It is kind of expensive.
yeah.
So just be aware of that, because that's
Yeah.
That's
and
what-
I don't know if you get breaks the more you do them or the higher up level you get because
like discounts.
yeah, because I noticed, if you do more than one cruise, then you get more incentives and
stuff.
perks, yeah. and then you do, 3, 4, 5 and you get more. And then, then there's people that have the I forget the name of it now.
Ugh.
But it's kind of like a timeshare thing
Oh, okay.
through Disney.
Like
yeah.
a vacation club thing.
Yeah, the Vacation Club. That's what it is. It's a Disney Vacation Club. And, they get all kinds of perks. But, yeah. So I think they actually get free photo packages.
Yeah.
We'll have to find out about that.
Yeah, there were some like special photo events that it seemed like some of those people who'd been on a bunch of cruises before,
Mhm.
only them knew about.
Yeah. They were the only ones to get those particular photos.
Yeah.
But, I cannot read my own writing here. Oh, the food. Okay, you pick a time for dinner, so you can do an early dinner or late dinner, and they suggest that if you're older, you don't have kids, to do the late dinner because there'd be less children at those dinners.
Yeah, and I actually really like that too, because if you want to go see like the theater events and stuff, you can go get some popcorn, watch your theater event, and then by
then
the
go
time that's
have
over,
dinner.
it's
Yeah.
dinner time. So I think it was like perfect
Yeah,
timing for us.
the big theater events, they work around the dinners. So while one group is at their dinner, a theater show is going, and then vice versa. So those 2 time slots are, everybody seems to be in one place at one time. And there is other things. You don't have to go to the theater show, or you don't have to go to your dinner even. You can go someplace else and eat. You can go to Cabanas and do the buffet.
Oh, and what was it? One group that we were, it was actually our dinner buddies during the cruise. They went to Apollo's.
They went to Apollo
they
one
had
night,
a special
yeah.
reservation, so they did warn our server that they wouldn't be there, and let us know too. So then we had kind of like a private dinner that night.
Yeah. So because it was just us 3 and their group of 3.
Mm-hmm.
So they were the only ones at our table with us.
Yeah.
So when they went and did something else, then like the ending breakfast the last day, they didn't go to that either.
Who didn't?
Or did
No, they
Yeah,
went with us.
Oh, they were there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was another group of people that we knew. None of them went. They actually went to
Oh
Cabanas.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because in all of their videos, they said
either
they
went
were
to
like,
Cabanas or they went.
said they really liked Cabanas that last morning because most people go to the breakfast or they just sleep in, and ow.
Yeah,
and so it's like pretty empty. At Cabanas.
And you can go do. There's restaurants that are open for sit down breakfast in the morning.
What is she doing?
So
like a cat.
I don't know. So we never did that. We never went to the sit down breakfast in the morning.
Yeah, and
we
either
did
lunch
room
either.
service. No, we did.
We didn't do sit down lunch.
Oh, did they have sit down lunch every day?
Yeah.
I don't think they have sit down lunch.
Because I'd seen people who went to Lumiere's for lunch and stuff. They have like different menus. So you can go to any of the sit down restaurants throughout the day for, I think, breakfast and lunch. Mm-hmm. And we had talked about doing it, but we just never did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like
we were having more fun doing a room service.
Yeah, there was a bunch of different places that you could go eat. Like even at some of the bars, there was also like things that you can eat, nibble on.
Yeah.
There was some stuff on the top deck that it was only open the last couple days because it's like half outdoor and they had that all closed off during the storm. But there was things we wanted to try that we just didn't get the chance to either because we didn't think about it.
At least we got to try some of the Dole Whip while we could.
She's joining.
Yeah, and the Dole Whip was actually, it's at a little bar thing, so that's actually extra price.
And you can get rum in it.
Yeah, and you can get rum in it.
To learn.
So I always heard people talk about Dole Whip, and I thought it was with ice cream, at the little
but it's right next
self-serve
to the
ice cream. Yeah.
It's an extra fee.
So, let's talk about leaving before we talk about if we would do New Orleans again. So, disembarking the ship, I was kind of disappointed with myself because I should have. They told us to just sit and wait for our tag to be called. Mm-hmm. Well, we were the last ones. And if I would have found out from somebody that we were the last ones to leave, we could have done a whole lot more stuff.
Yeah,
but we were just kind of sitting around waiting.
Yeah, I seen people who were hanging out on the top deck, like doing things, but we just didn't think of, because a lot of people on this particular cruise were also on their first cruise. And so, yeah, a lot of them were just sitting around or standing in lines that weren't moving and just waiting to disembark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was just kind of a weird experience.
Yeah, we didn't have to
sit around.
Yeah, we didn't have to leave either at a certain time because once they called all the tags, then they've called all the tags. Mm-hmm. So we could have just went to like Cove Cafe or hung out by the pool or just.
And then we did go to Cove Cafe in the morning. We did. I think they're only open limited hours, so there is a certain time when everything closes off for the people who are going to disembark, so they can prepare for the next group of people.
Yeah, because the next group of people actually come that same day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you can, because I think that was one thing that we ended up doing. This was like a funny little thing because literally I think I have like a strange sense of directions at times. So sometimes I'll either stand or go in opposite direction of these two at times because she's just like, oh, we gotta go this way. I'm like, they're right here. Because that's what happened when we disembarked. We ended up leaving one way. But the taxis for us to be able to get back into, like, the French Quarter were the other way.
I think it's just that she has a better memory than us at times.
Maybe.
So it's not much of a sense of direction, but she remembers things better than we do.
Right. Yeah, because we...
Yeah, but you could see that they were getting, like, a bunch of people ready to get onto the next ship.
I know where the taxis dropped everybody off, but I figured they were picking them up at a different area, but they weren't. It was the same area.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, I think that's all I wanted to talk about.
Should we talk about like payments and pricing?
Yeah,
so,
we'll talk about that. But first of all, I wanted to talk about New Orleans. I mean, what did you think about it?
I loved it.
Would you do it again? Yeah.
I know it's like a party. See, now that I'm an adult, I appreciate these like things that I never used to. So, I mean, I love the history of it. Anywhere that's got like old architecture and just like a lot of area that you can just walk and not have to like drive to. I love that. And so the French Quarter I thought was cool because even though it seems like a small area,
There was
like,
a lot.
you can walk anywhere,
Yeah.
but it was also a lot of walking.
Didn't even. I mean, there was so much more we could do.
Yeah, and
then it just seems like there's so many places to visit. There's a lot of hole-in-the-wall places. There's a lot of really good food. You can try all sorts of drinks. You don't even have to drink alcohol. There's just something for everyone, even though it's kind of marketed as like all-night party city for people because of that Bourbon Street. But it's still, I would say, pretty family-friendly.
Yeah, I will say what's kind of like fun though. We didn't get to try it with the first hotel that we were at, but at the second hotel when we got back after the cruise, we definitely got to talk to. They had a what was it? I always forget what they're called, and sometimes like hotels. But
the concierge.
yeah, though we were talking to her, and we were able to book a number of the tours through her. And if you book through your hotel, you get a number of deals.
And
Yeah,
that's
you
what
get
I
specials.
If we ever go back in the future, I definitely want to do more tours because those, when we did them, when we came back from the cruise, those were some of like the coolest things we did.
I think
those
the
are
one that
some
would be
highlights.
like interesting was I think this is actually kind of a bucket list for a number of people because I forget if it's like the house garden kind of tours, like those big houses.
Oh, the garden area,
Because-
the garden district.
Yeah, because literally one of the houses that are on that thing, you guys don't know this, but I do since I game, but Red Dead Redemption, one of the houses in that location is actually in the game.
There's actually quite a few houses that they said have been used in movies and TV series. And so there's actually a lot of cool places in NOLA that I didn't know were used for filming.
Right.
Like, so yeah, it's kind of cool to learn about all these like inside things.
Yeah,
Things you just didn't expect out of the city. Yeah,
I
what
mean,
do you think?
I liked NOLA. I liked New Orleans, but for a cruise, I don't know if I would go out there again. Because it's 8 or 9 hours down the river before you're
and it just doesn't,
on the Gulf.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
And,
like you're
and it's
quite in the
nighttime, so by the time you get halfway down through there, so I don't know.
That's true. Like, I think it would be cooler to go to a port where, like, once
Where
the ship disembarks, you're like
on
right
the
in
ocean. You're
Yeah.
right there where it's nice and blue and beautiful.
So
and,
you get to see more of the ocean. Yeah, because the river is obviously brown and muddy, the muddy river. So it wasn't the prettiest thing to look at. So I think it would be cool to take cruises out of different ports in the future. But like, NOLA in itself would be a cool place to just visit for like a long weekend. Just to go back.
Yeah. Because it was expensive doing it all together. Like I said, we had 3 days before and 3 days after because of our flights. Our flight came in pretty early, and then we left pretty late the one day. So I'm counting those as days.
Yeah.
Because we did have full days to do things. Those days. So did you want to talk about price? What was the cruise itself? Was it $3,800?
Yeah, it was
For the three of us.
It was almost $4,000, somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 for all three of us, which is actually like pretty decently priced for a cruise. I've heard.
Because that's all inclusive.
Yeah, for the most part, because you can do the whole cruise without spending any extra money. But little things like if you don't go to the free soda station and you get sodas at the stand by the theater, that's an extra cost.
Extra charge.
If you buy the popcorn bucket, so what I didn't know is if you buy the popcorn bucket, initially you're like, ooh, is popcorn going to be this much each time? Well, if you bring it back, then popcorn's only like $1.75 for a refill. So once we found that out, that was nice. So that wasn't bad.
Right.
It's the popcorn bucket when you're buying it the first time. That's most of the cost.
Yeah.
So, but and then if you bring those popcorn buckets on future cruises,
They just refill them.
yeah. So that's like a kind of a life hack for.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
any popcorn bucket probably
Yeah.
even from the parks.
Actually, they do, because when we were disembarking, I was actually seeing a bunch of kids that had
Yeah, they
like
had some
character
from
themed
previous
popcorn
cruises.
buckets. Like there was a little girl that was dragging along a Cinderella popcorn bucket. It was
Yeah.
like
Cute.
it was her little chariot. It had wheels that worked.
Yeah, so things like that
Yeah.
are like a small extra cost. But then if you get refills, I think even in the light up cups that we got on Pirate Night, if you get a refill in that, it's actually a little bit cheaper than if you were to just get a drink in general. So
Mary foot the whole bill for,
the
the
whole
cruise.
cruise, I wasn't really planning on it, but I actually was pretty. I had paid off like all of my well, I just have one card, but I had paid everything off at home, and then paid off my card before we went on the cruise. So I had money to spend.
Do you know how much extras we just for the cruise? Do you know how much extras? Because we got the Port Adventure and the Passion Island, and then we didn't do anything in Cozumel. But all the drinks and the Cove Cafe.
And the drinks aren't bad either. They're actually pretty well for us being used to Alaska pricing. The drinks are all pretty averagely priced, so that's not so bad.
And the Wi-Fi package.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi. I think the things that really got me were the Wi-Fi package
And the photo package.
Those
Those
were
were pricey.
more hefty prices. But I was like expecting them, so I was. What I didn't know was I was kind of trying to keep these all in my head, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna make sure like.
And the tipping we paid ahead.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta make sure I kind of gotta keep these prices in my head so I don't go over on my card, and if I do, I can pay it off before more charges go on.
So would you say it was still under $1,000 extra?
Well, one second. I'm trying to finish the thought, and everyone's asking me questions. But what I didn't notice is you can actually go in the app and you can see your purchases or your like tab almost for your room, and it shows you all of those things immediately.
Like a bank account, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see how much it's going to take out, and then you can kind of do your online baking and stuff to make sure you have enough before it's taken out. So that was really nice because once I found that out, and I noticed they were going to take that amount out, I was like, oh, it's just a little bit over what I currently have on my card. Let me pay my card off really quick, and then when they take it out, it'll be totally fine. So that worked out perfectly. And, I don't think it was actually as much as I was expecting. So it was, I don't know, maybe like $1,500 for all the extra stuff we bought.
Oh, see, that's more than I would have thought.
See,
I would have thought about $1,000.
Well, I think I had some payments that were on my card.
But she bought some jewelry and stuff too.
Yeah,
and then there was
I think I had like
the
a
gift
little
shop stuff.
The gift shop stuff, clothes.
Yeah, I think I had a fuel bill that they came and refilled our fuel just before our trip, and I still had that, so it might have been less than $1,500. So that might have still been on my card.
Yeah.
When we went on the cruise.
And I cleared off a card that I was going to use for New Orleans, and that was $3,500, and we filled it back up.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
So New Orleans was $3,500, but that includes the hotels and all the food, and then the tours and stuff that we went on.
Oh, and things that we bought.
And we bought a lot of stuff in New Orleans.
I think that was most of the cost of New Orleans. Actually, was
the French market.
Yeah, was like the extra touristy gift shop type stuff and the food. The like certain places were definitely pricey.
I've shown the one bag that I ended up getting, but it's just like a generic bag.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, maybe do something later. The
Yeah,
stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah, we were gonna actually do like a haul with this video, but we'll probably do that later because I knew this was going to be long, and it's already long.
Yeah, I can't see the time. It's a little blur.
Yeah,
like
it's
a
almost
smudge.
40 minutes.
Oh,
And then what else was I going to do besides the haul? We were going to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
so I
maybe-
I hope talking about pricing kind of helped you guys maybe figure out, like, you know, if you want to do this kind of stuff in the future,
Right. Yeah.
how much it's going to
Yeah.
cost for you. I know it depends on the time of year too, how expensive your cruise is going to be. So I think because ours was kind of during a rainy, stormier season, the price
Right.
was greatly dropped. Whereas if we had gone a month prior or a month after, the prices are probably much higher because it's going to be a lot sunnier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's also
And
something to take into
spring
consideration.
break. Spring break was just before and then
Yeah.
just after for
Yeah.
most people.
Why are
So
you licking my
we hit it
shirt?
right in the middle. Yeah, I think that's probably about it then.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's so much more. But if you guys have any questions, maybe
Yeah.
leave them in the comments. We could try to.
Answer what we
them.
can from our own experience. And
Right.
I guess my own personal question, I want to ask a question. How did you guys feel with the dogs being in there? because,
I know, like
because
they're running around. While
yeah,
we're-
because I just want to. She does that.
Fell off the side of the couch.
I just want to reveal what I have. I have a stuffed toy in my thighs, and then I also have both of my gloves because the dog wants my gloves.
Yeah, we're trying to keep Bean from squeaking toys.
I am sure it's entertaining. There's one dog on this
so
Oh,
side of the
cute.
table and one dog on the other side. And the toy's in the
Take a
middle and
picture.
they're trying to fight over it.
Now he wants the toy.
oh, she got it.
Oh,
It's like one of those furry hippos or something.
I was gonna have her show you a picture, but that's okay. All right, we gotta go before it gets too crazy around here.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us if you have any suggestions for our next time, or
And then,
you know.
yeah, leave the questions below. If we are going to do
Oh.
another haul video, we might be able to answer some of those.
Oh yeah, answer questions while after doing the haul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
When,
was just thinking.
when we do a haul, we can answer questions. So give us some questions, and yeah. Okay. Well. Thanks for watching. And I noticed everybody's been following along with all the cruise stuff, and thanks for doing that, and all of our new subscribers because of the cruise. Because there was 150 people on there. Not all of them were YouTubers. They were Leg Life's followers. They were viewers of the Leg Life that were there to see them.
And in the future, if we do
And a lot
more...
of you knew us. We were really surprised about that.
Yeah, and in the future, if we do more cruises, we will try to get better at speaking to the camera. Like, you know, doing little intermissions for you guys and explaining what we're doing.
Yeah. We were just so confused,
But we
so
did get-
overwhelmed
We
with
did get
everything
like
that
a
was going
ton
on.
more pictures this time, so those were good fillers. And
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
could,
Oh,
explain.
pictures! We'll show you the pictures.
Oh
So-
yeah.
So hang on for that, and they won't take long. There's there's 10 pictures in that package. So, okay, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.